Oh, sorry, YouTube. I didn't know we started. The last 2 days, it's been really fast. Normally, there's a delay, and I start looking over at Facebook. Welcome, Facebook. Sorry for the delay in my start. Let me just say that I've been working on my course for how to sell your home with social media, and a question came up because. And it came up in two different ways from two different people because someone said there's a new California Association of Realtors form because I have a series of videos on YouTube with the California Association of Realtors, and on the first page I always say check to make sure you're working with the most recent one. And guess what? The car form is not the most recent one that's on the net because it changed a few months ago. Now, I didn't make a big deal over it because when I found out about it, the only change was to the realtor box. So that doesn't really material affect anybody but the realtors. And I sort of found it annoying, so I didn't bother dealing with it. But because people are aware that some people, not many realtors, are aware there's a change, I figured I'd go over that. And to make sure I know what I'm talking about, I figured I'd double check with the California Association of Realtors themselves. So I found this. Where did I find it? I hope I can find it. Oh, don't tell me it went away when I clicked. Oh, here's the updates. So in 12/12, there were updates, and they said there were 4 new forms. So this should be interesting for realtors anyway. And then there were 11 revised forms. Oh, I'm not showing it to you, so that's not doing any good. Here are the 4 new forms. Here are the 4 revised forms. This HOA is going to come in handy for some people, I'm sure. Well, all of them will come in handy for some people. That's why they're there. The RLA, the listing agreement, to indicate that a sale would be contingent upon the seller finding a replacement property. I've heard about that. It wasn't my file, but I've heard about that issue. People are like, well, if I can't find another home, I don't want to sell my house. And sometimes they even set up the transaction that way, which, by the way, if you're a seller and you want to set up your transaction that way, it can be accomplished 2 different ways. And then the request for repair. And then, well, multiple counteroffers is always going to be interesting. Additional language added to make the form, which currently applies to purchases, now also apply to lease transactions. And then finally, the RPA. So here they're telling us, in order to be consistent with the new NAR standard of practice, remember the Code of Ethics, paragraph E was added to the broker box on page 10 to automatically have the cooperating broker make a request that the listing broker affirm that the offer is presented to the seller. Okay, so let's go look at that, just so it makes sense in context to everybody. And I think I had it in a separate thing. Yes, I already pulled it up. Did I already pull it up? Oh, wow. Let me get rid of the lower third. Sorry, let's go back. Before I pull this up again, let me read it to you. Residential language was added that the seller indicate that to the listing agent that a sale would be contingent on the seller finding a replacement property, RPA, in order to be consistent with the new NAR standard of practice, 1-7, remember the Code of Ethics. Paragraph E was added to the broker box on page 10, automatically to have the cooperating broker make a request that the listing broker affirm the offer has been presented to the seller. So let's go look at that box. All right, here it is on page 10. It's the last page of the RPA itself, although frequently, if you're working with these forms, they're sort of attached. Car pumps them all out at once. Some of them are attached. And we'll go over that in our course at winnerscheck.org that I've set up for people who want to learn more about the forms, and particularly sellers and buyers who are working without, say, a buyer's realtor or a seller's realtor. So, if we read through, I'm going to assume none of the other boxes change because it looks the same to me from memory. But here we have presentation of offer. Pursuant to the standard of practice 1-7, buyer's broker makes a written request. Seller's broker shall confirm in writing that this offer has been presented to seller. So it says if. So the way they said it before, they said it happens automatically. I think they were saying that the selling broker has to automatically confirm. Well, let's say this again. Buyer's broker makes a written request. Hey, did you present my offer? And I'll tell you when this comes up in a second. Seller's broker shall confirm in writing that this offer has been presented to the seller. So I think what Carr meant to say was that the seller, the listing agent's agreeing to automatically confirm in writing when upon request. Let's see if that's what they actually wrote here. In order to be consistent with the new NAR standard of practice, paragraph E was added to the broker box on page 10 to automatically have the cooperating broker make a request that the listing broker affirm that the offer has been presented to the seller. That's not the way I read that. I think that a non-lawyer wrote this or was told to write it, and they wrote down the order incorrectly without really seeing what was written, right? So it's not that it's because there's an if there. So it's not that let me use their words here. The cooperating broker is the buyer's broker, or in the old days called the selling broker. Automatically have the buyer's broker make a request. No, it's automatically that the listing broker affirm that the offer has been presented if requested by the buyer's broker. Okay, so let's just say that I would go with the contract over the summary if this issue ever comes up between agents or buyers and sellers. And let me tell you why. So I'm going to pull it back over here. So I'm going to look at it one more time. I'll highlight it again. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to do the highlight thing because I'm not going to do this in post-processing. But I'll run the cursor over it. Oh, look, I could highlight it by using the PDF concept. Presentation of offer. Pursuant to standard of practice 1-7, if buyer's broker, that's an if. So if the buyer's broker asks in writing, the seller's broker shall confirm in writing that the offer has been presented to the seller. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that comes up a lot. That's why in my course, where I talk about the 2 best ways for a seller to receive multiple offers, one of them is to just have a round-robin bidding and not really have an agent who can then steer the deals to their own buyers, right? You're saying this is a fair process. We're doing round-robin bidding to see who wants this property the most so they have exclusive right to negotiate with the seller on Monday morning after a weekend of receiving bids or offers. So the point is, you're saying, look, I realize that you don't like being involved in a multiple offer situation, but we've already got an offer. We're going to have multiple offers anyway. If you do this bidding process with us, the person who tells us they're interested in the house at this price, the person with the winning bid, then has an opportunity to go negotiate with us exclusively. We won't field other offers during this time. We won't review them if they come in. If we're on the phone, we're going to say, send them in, but we're not going to look at them, or whatever language you want to use, and say, but on Monday morning for 3-4 hours, whatever you want to say we're going to talk to you, the buyer. You're by putting in the winning bid, you're saying, at this price, if all the other terms are acceptable to me, I'd like to discuss going to contract with you at this price on Monday morning, and we'll work with you exclusively. This way, if you really are the best, most solid buyer that we have, or the buyer willing to pay the most, we're going to have an exclusive opportunity to work together. You don't have to worry about my listing agent selling to their own buyer to make an extra 3%. This is an opportunity for you to work with us. Now, if you ask me, and I'm a buyer in a seller's market, which we're in again, that may change, but right now it's March, the end of March. Is it the end? No, it's the beginning of April, sorry. 2019. It's a seller's market in many places in California. And the buyers a lot of them get battle weary. Well, you give them an opportunity to say, if you want this house the most, you're going to have a chance to negotiate with us. Buyers, I think most buyers are going to love that. That's better than submitting a bunch of offers and wondering what's going on and wondering why the selling agent's dealing with their own buyer rather than someone else's. Now, let me also explain, this also comes up legitimately. If you're selling a property that needs to be repaired, as I've sold many for trustees and probate properties, and really anytime a seller's been in the property for a long time and they age and they let the house go because they're living in it, they're living on a fixed income, and properties need a lot of work, and they're 20, 30 years old, things are dated, buyers want to move in and be happy, and so there's usually an opportunity for someone to swoop in and buy the house at a good price, fix it up and sell it for more, or whatever it is. Now, those properties attract middlemen, lots of them. People saying, oh, I'll offer you a little bit more, and then they try to flip it out over that 30 days or 40 days, whatever they ask for. Other times, lots of buyers make offers. Some of them, there's a whole industry of saying, make the offer, then do the inspection, and then come back and say, oh, we need $10,000, $20,000 off. We were surprised by this crack in the foundation. And these could be legitimate things. The pool wasn't permitted properly. It wasn't. All these things that old houses have that people then use to come back and say, oh, I want X less. Well, someone's selling a bunch of older properties for an estate gets tired of that game. I know I've had clients like that, multiple clients. And they're like, I just want an offer from someone who knows this game well enough that they've come in, they've done their inspection, and they're saying, I'm going to close in 7 days or 10 days. No games are being played anymore. We've done our inspections. We know what we're doing. This is our price. Sometimes sellers, especially if the money's going to charity or the heirs are already got a lot or they don't care. They're like, I don't care about $15,000, $20,000. I want to be done with this. I'm tired of administering this estate. I'm tired of everything about this, and I'm done. And I'd rather go take a risk that, sell for $15,000 less and work with these people I know are going to close. Because, John, you've worked with them before, or because I see their portfolio and they've closed 300 times and they've told me on all but 2, they stuck with their price. I mean, whatever it is. So then, eventually, the property closes and you put the price there and it's $10,000, $15,000 above what other people offer. And they're like, why didn't you work with my buyer? And you didn't tell anybody, and you're like, no, I told everybody. I'm an attorney too. And in the case of probate, and there was also a probate attorney I gave every single offer to, and then we all discussed what was best. People don't necessarily believe that. That's okay, but that's how this comes up. So around the country, I'm sure this was happening because National Association of Realtors has apparently promulgated this new code of ethics that says that listing agents have to confirm in writing. I want to say that again because it's important. Seller's broker shall confirm. That's interesting that it's not listing broker anymore. Seller's broker shall confirm in writing that this offer has been presented to seller. Right? But you're going to have to take my word for it, and you should because my word's good. But I also understand buyer's agents sometimes feel like they're made to look bad when they didn't get the deal, even though there was more offered. And that hurts them. And buyers also, they have a right to know. They made an offer on a property and they feel gypped. I'm sorry that I put my emotion in there. Like, well, we don't need to deal with you because you were $15,000 more thing. Buyers have to understand sometimes in a straight up deal, I guess that's all I'm saying. In a straight up deal, sometimes the knowledge that someone's going to close is more important than $10,000 or $15,000 on a $900,000 deal or an $800,000 deal. That's my point. I didn't mean to belittle buyers or sellers. I just felt a little bit of the emotion there being challenged once or twice by an agent. Like, why did you take that deal? Well, there were reasons and my clients were well advised. And I find it interesting that NAR did this. So it happens all over and people are like, why didn't I win? Well, sometimes you don't win because the agent's self-dealing to their own buyers. And sometimes you didn't win because the highest offer is not always the strongest offer. And well-advised clients should know that. And well-advised buyers should understand that too. That's why sometimes buyers say cash offers. That's why sometimes buyers says no inspection contingencies. In a tough market, those things have to be discussed and understood. Thanks. Talk to you later. John McConnin, winnerscheck.org. If you want to learn how to sell to multiple offers. And, I guess eventually I'm going to have to break out this. I have a separate module on the entire RPA. I'm going to have to add this new item in there, but I'm going to find a way to make that an offer on some of my websites somewhere. But John McConnin, winnerscheck.org for our seller's course and possibly a buyer's course. There's a buyer's course that may interest some people there too. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.